to be in these CAST courses and to truly understand what it means to be a frontline social worker and to have that experience in the classroom, to me, will be a huge benefit for child welfare.
Broadcast live from Starkville on the campus of Mississippi State. And we're talking about Children's Advocacy Centers of Mississippi. Next guests are Dr. Lori Staten, who is a CAST faculty member here at Mississippi State and is in the Department of Human Sciences, and also Angel Faison, who is an instructor and is the CAST coordinator at Mississippi State. Good morning to both of you. Thanks for getting up early with us.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
All right, so Dr. Staten, let's start with you. We had a really good conversation a little while ago with Carla about all of the different entities that are involved and trying to kind of get everybody on the same page, remembering that the end goal is protecting children, right? We're trying to protect children who are victims of child abuse, and in the cases of child abuse, get convictions and make sure they don't happen again. And so part of that is the partnerships with universities and educating kind of in a multidisciplinary fashion.
Correct.
So tell me about Mississippi State's role in that.
So Mississippi State was introduced to the CAST program in 2015, and in 2016 we had 2 professors trained to be able to deliver the coursework, and that was Dr. Alicia Hardman from Human Development and Family Science and Dr. Ari Oliveros from Psychology. So after that, additional people were trained, including myself and Angel, in 2017, and we were actually able to implement the coursework starting in 2018. So we were able to establish an interdisciplinary certificate. So currently we're in the process of working on a minor, but it's a collaboration between human development and family science and psychology and sociology here at Mississippi State.
I feel like that's a theme for the day, whether we're talking about at the state chapter level or even at the university level. This is about collaboration and trying to pull everybody together and being on the same page. Angel Faison is an instructor and the CAST coordinator here at Mississippi State. Tell me about the reaction from students that you found. Because my reaction when we were talking about this was like, this makes so much sense that regardless of major, you're laying a foundation for where they're headed work-wise. Right. What's their reaction been?
The reaction has been very, very positive. And so many of our students, this has actually changed kind of the trajectory of their career.
Really?
Yeah. So many of them will take one of the classes as an elective because they like the content, or they think that sounds like some content I would like, and then they actually end up going forward and getting the certificate because they say, this is the work I want to do.
Yeah. And
so it really has made a big difference, and it's opened up a lot of job opportunities for students to have this certificate. So we have students in lots of different avenues, and the thing about the certificate that's also really interesting is it's a lot of HDFS students, and it's a lot of social work and psychology. But there's also, we've had a pre-med student, a student who's in medical school right now.
Yeah.
We've had education students. We've had biological sciences. So it's very much impacting students all across the campus.
So Dr. Staten, you mentioned a second ago, I think 4 areas. You talked about family sciences, and you talked about psychology. Those were kind of the 2 initial, and then there were 2 more. Is this something that can grow to even more departments or more majors or minors, kind of pulling in and saying, look, this is a relevant course for, X number of majors?
Yes. I mean, we really see this as being foundational knowledge for anybody who is working with children and families. I mean, we know, especially in a state like Mississippi, where there can be a lot of, we get acknowledged for some negative outcomes when it comes to, health and education. And so this is really
we're making progress.
We are making progress, but this is something that is helping make that progress.
Yeah.
So when people recognize the signs and symptoms of abuse and really understand how those actions impact the brain and body, then we really can work together and move forward in a better fashion.
Angel, tell me about the training process for you, because when Dr. Staten laid out the timeline, she said, 2015, and then it's a couple of professors, and we don't go to coursework until 2018. So it's a process.
It is. I was trained in 2017 in CAST, and then I believe it was 2018 when we were introduced to forecast, which I don't know if that's been discussed yet, but that's an additional piece that allows us to take problem-based learning simulations. So students actually get hands-on knowledge. They get cases presented to them where they get to decide what's going to happen next in a fictional case, and that way they're allowed to make mistakes. So
CAST is child advocacy studies,
yes.
and then forecast is the next step you're talking about.
Yeah, it's an additional piece of CAST. And so I was trained in that the next year, and that began, and we started courses in 2018. And I currently teach 2 of the courses now, and they've been offered since 2019. All of those courses have been.
So what's next?
Well, I think there's a lot of opportunity
Yes.
of what's next. We are working on the minor, so we will build that. I mean, we already have 107 students from 2018. I think the first certificate was awarded in 2019. So 107 students thus far have earned the certificate since 2019. But they're eager for more. So we're talking about different ways that we can expand that from just a certificate to a minor. We're also talking about incorporating some of this coursework at a higher level in graduate school, so because there has been so much interest.
8 public universities in Mississippi, and these resources have been made available to all, and the universities have kind of embraced it at a different level. What's the level of interaction and collaboration between your department at Mississippi State, what you guys are doing in the CAST program, and what's happening in Hattiesburg and in Oxford and in Cleveland and in Lorman and all of the places?
So that's something that's very interesting about CAST. So we all have those courses, which mean that people could take coursework at different institutions,
right,
and it still count towards the certificates. So I think that's one way that we collaborate. Another is through the child advocacy centers. They bring us together for annual meetings to all talk about what we're doing, how we're doing that, and giving us opportunities to kind of share what works and what doesn't work in the classroom.
Yeah, Angela, have you found that as well in terms of interacting with colleagues at other universities?
Yes, and it's been very helpful to get to know these other people because we can bounce ideas off of those people. We can share content. It's kind of one of those things, nobody's wanting to protect the coursework. We all want to share and we all want to help each other because this is for the good of children. This is not about territories and boundaries. This is for the good of the children. Another thing is we have the One Loud Voice conference, which is done through Child Advocacy Studies, and I've been able to take students there, and they have actually a CAST track, so that's just specifically for those students in Child Advocacy Studies, and so that's been a good professional development opportunity for students, but also for us to be around those across the state.
I'll kind of lay this out here for both of you, and let either of you, we've got about 2 minutes left. I'm curious, in terms of the curriculum, what are you covering how many different classes? Is it one class that's available that kind of covers, or is it multiple classes?
So,
I guess to get the certificate, it's across multiple classes.
Yes. So currently there are 4 courses.
Okay.
There's one on trauma-informed practice, which is really laying the foundation of how those experiences influence the brain and body. Then we have Angel teaches perspectives
on child maltreatment and advocacy, which is really it's a child abuse, letting them know the signs, the symptoms, and what to look for, and how to respond to those things.
Okay.
We also have a course that's called Global Child Advocacy, and in that course, students are exposed to what advocacy can look like globally and what children around the globe are actually facing. So, we talk about a lot of things.
So does that roll human trafficking into that conversation?
Yes.
This is heavy on a Friday morning, but goodness gracious.
It is. And so we teach a lot about self-care in all of those classes, because anybody who is going to go into this field has to know how to practice self-care, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And so we teach a lot about how to take care of yourself when you're doing this hard work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Incredible stuff that's going on. I applaud both of you for your role in kind of leading the effort here at Mississippi State, and just a phenomenal program that hopefully is seeing dividends, right? I mean,
absolutely is.
I thought what Carla said earlier was, this is not a short-term play. This is a long-term play, and there's some patience that is involved, and maybe even some discouragement along the way. But goodness gracious, what a great product. Thanks so much for spending some time with us this morning.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
This is the Gallo Show on SuperTalk Mississippi. We've got one segment left in this 7 o'clock hour, and then we will roll on with you on this Friday morning. Coming to you live from Starkville on the campus of Mississippi State, talking about Children's Advocacy Centers of Mississippi, who remind you we protect children. We're back after this.